Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of the Talladega Nights Painters Team Race special event to close out 2023. It's in tribute to the Big Four, the painters that feature the liveries you see in all the respective series under the Talladega Nights banner, and it comes to a head here tonight. 4 teams, 10 racers each. Which team is going to prevail? I'm Seth Cole alongside of Michael Norman. And Michael, we've got the 4 different big name painters here for this respective series, this
But do
collective.
you remember them, Seth? Because remember
I
last time you
do
didn't
remember
remember all of
them.
them.
So we have here tonight, we've got the Chevrolet team representing Rodney Sullins, the Dodge team representing Bernie Mobbs, the Ford team representing Frank Divins, and the Toyota team representing Blaine Donlin. But Michael, it's a team race. You have to all work together. Easier said than done, though, when there's 10 of you trying to work against 30 other drivers.
Yes, that is true. And if I remember correctly, this is all like combined points, right?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. So I thought I remembered that correctly. So yeah, it's gonna be all about working together. But also, Seth, there's 40 drivers out there. That's a full field for this race tonight. 66 laps. It ain't gonna be easy.
Not going to be easy at all. And I think you're going to see here tonight a lot of drivers, trying to work out finding each other. But we're going to be giving you guys the driver intros before we go to qualifying. And, you could end up having half of your team starting at the rear of the field while the other half starts at the front. How the heck do you get them all combined together? Or do you kind of just have to be divided into 2 groups working together to try and maybe find each other later on in the race?
Well, it's easier when you have less cars in a team, to work together, like,
Right.
4
Yeah.
cars working together. But with 10 cars, it's gonna be a little difficult. So, I mean, you're gonna wanna find your help when you can get there, find your teammates and work with them. But as for getting them all together, I don't think that'll be 100% true until around the end of the race or pit stop time if we have green flag pit stops.
And as you alluded to, it is the collective points for each car out of each respective team that ends up determining which team will be victorious. With that being said here tonight, the typical pitfalls of superspeedway racing, the dreaded big one mistake can wipe out nearly the entire field. So with that being said, let's say that a driver and a team, 3, 4 drivers are badly damaged 10 laps into this event. You're probably going to see drivers, even if they're off the pace, they're going to stay out there. They're going to try and get every position possible because who knows? A 32nd place finish as opposed to a 33rd place finish could be just 1 point difference into whether your team is going to be accumulating the most points at the end of the night. Going to make things interesting strategy-wise all evening long. You included in those pit stops, execution. If we have green flag pit stops, going to be very important. I mean, I kind of honestly feel like this has a lot more pressure on a Super Speedway Series driver than just a normal Super Speedway point race.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be more fun, more exciting, and more action in it as well as these drivers. It's not just all about the win anymore. So it's all
No,
about teams and helping your teammates. So we're gonna wait and see how that's gonna play out tonight.
yeah, you may end up having all 10 of a certain team up at the front, and I guarantee you that 10th place
Or you may
driver
have
will
all
be.
10 of a certain team behind the wall.
You could have that too, but I guarantee you, if we end up having the former scenario, that 10th place driver, he'll be more than happy to settle for a top 10 run, as long as he ends up being able to help his teammates be able to maybe sweep the entire top 10. Not likely that scenario will take place, but we could very well see 3, 4 drivers of a respective team finish up at the front of the field, and probably be easy to say that would be the team that would end up winning the team title at the end of the night. To help you folks here this evening as well, each one of these teams have liveries that are similar. They're all the same. The only difference is the number. We will be having, during the course of this race, a spotter list for you guys showing you each respective number of each respective driver of each respective team, so that way you'll be able to follow along with us. We covered a team race a few months ago, and I got all mixed up, so hopefully it'll make things a little bit more clearer for everybody here tonight. All right, I'm being told that these drivers are getting queued up and getting themselves ready for driver intros, so we're going to be getting the driver intros with them all giving in number order for their respective teams. They will then go to qualifying, and then we will get ready for this race. So let's get that starting lineup now.
Channel switched.
All right, here are the 40 drivers for the 4 respective teams that are taken to the track here tonight.
Number 10, Greg Lovell, driving the new 2024 Mustang, painted by Frank Divins. Thank you, Frank, for the paint scheme, and good luck to all you guys tonight.
Driving the number 11 Ford for Frank Divins tonight is Denny Carroll from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Good luck, everybody.
Driving the number 12, Brian Lovell. Thank you for the team paints, Frank, and good luck, everybody.
Driving the number 13 Mustang Dark Horse, painted by Mr. Frank Divas himself. Let's have a good race, guys. Stay clean. Let's cross the finish line.
Driving the 14, Dan Lovell, painted by Frank Divins and blue Fords. Thanks, Frank. Good luck to all you guys out there racing. Let's keep it clean.
Driving the number 15 from Huntsville, Alabama is Randy Waugh. Driving for Team Divins. Shout out to my sons Christian and Corey, my grandsons Adrian, Asher, and Asa. Good luck.
Driving the 16, Mark Paglia from Gainesville, Georgia. Thank you, Frank, for the great paint.
Number 17, Gary Heiser from Mount Sterling, Kentucky, driving the Ford Mustang painted by Frank Divins. Sweet looking ride, brother.
Driving number 18, Perry Bond out of Virginia, driving for Frank Divins Sr., a Ford Blue Mustang. Let's go, guys. Good luck.
Number 19, Keith Bynum, driving the blue Ford Mustang painted by Frank Divins. We appreciate that. And good luck to everybody.
Number 20, Bernie Mobbs from Palm Coast, Florida, driving for Team Dodge.
Bob Seminara, number 21, Bernie's Paints, also out of Palm Coast, Florida. Big shout out to Bernie through the years with the championship paints he's provided. Good luck tonight.
22, driving the 22 Douglas Hewlick, driving for Bernie Hot Mobs Mobster crew. Good luck, guys.
Driving the 23, Bob Dixon from beautiful North Macon, Georgia.
Driving the 24 Team Dodge, Joe DeSpirito from Palm Coast, Florida. Bernie Mobbs with the championship winning paints.
Driving number 25, Tom Dixon from Byron, Georgia. Thank you, Bernie. Going with the Bernie Mobbs team.
Ulysses Sandoval from Baltimore, Maryland, driving the 26 Dodge for Team Dodge. Let's pull up a good race, everybody. Race clean, and let's pull up a good show. Good luck, everyone.
Number 27, driving the Rockstar Energy Drink Team Bernie Mobbs, Bob Pumpkin Sire out of Freeland, Michigan. Good luck, everybody. Thank you to all the painters.
Grant Wesley from Princeton, Indiana, driving a number 28, Bernie's Paints, Dodge Challenger. Let's go.
Car number 29, Bobby Farrell out of Frederica, Delaware, in a Rockstar Energy Drink Dodge for Bernie Mobbs.
Kelly Causey, driving for Team Rodney Sullins in the number 30 Chevrolet Camaro.
John Godfrey, number 31, Team Sullins Camaro, out of Cornelius, North Carolina.
Greg Palmer out of Lewis, Delaware, driving a 32 Skull Chevy, painted by the one, the only Rodney Sullins. Good luck, guys.
Zach Roberts out of Evansville, Indiana, driving the 33 Skull Chevrolet, painted by one the only Rodney Sullins. Thank you from Uncle Kenny and Rodney for helping me. Good luck, guys.
Number 34, Brian Schilling from Buffalo, New York, driving the beautiful Chevy Camaro painted by Rodney Sullins. Go Bills.
Driving the 35, Ken Roberts out of West Bend, Wisconsin, driving for Team Chevrolet. I'd like to say thanks to all the painters. Appreciate your guys' efforts.
Number 36, Brian Ross from Heath, Texas, Team Solons. Thanks, Rodney, for all the great work you do, and go Cowboys.
Driving the number 37 is Gray McDonald from Sarnia, Ontario, for Team Sullins. Good luck, everybody.
Rodney Sullins driving the number 38 Team Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. I want to thank Blaine, Frank, Bernie, guys, for us all doing this. It's pretty cool. Jeffrey and Ed for putting it on. It's going to be pretty neat, I believe. Let's have a good night, guys.
Driving the 39, Mike Mangialardi out of Federal Way, Washington, driving for Team Rodney Solons. Thanks for the great paint job. Shout out to my friends watching at the Rainier Room tonight. And good luck, everybody.
Nate Balsa driving the number 40 for Team Toyota out of Seattle, Washington. Good luck, all.
Pat McCarsky, Brownsburg, Indiana, number 41, Team Donlin Toyota.
Number 42, Blaine Donlin. Shout out to Jeffrey Elliott, all of his admins, Seth Michael, and of course, John Godfrey retexturing this awesome track. It's even faster now. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Driving to number 43 is Chris Elliott out of Mooresville, North Carolina, driving for Team Toyota. I want to thank all the painters tonight. This race is dedicated to you guys, as you know, and love you guys. And I also want to thank all the drivers for coming out here. And a shout out to everybody watching. Let's have a good race.
Josh Slocum.
Number 44, Josh Slocum, Team Toyota. Thanks for the paint there, Blaine. Merry Christmas, everybody. Go Bills, and have a great race.
Jeffrey Elliott driving number 45 for Team Toyota. Blaine Donlin out of Mooresville, North Carolina. I want to thank Rodney Solins, Frank Devins, Bernie Mobs, and my boy Blaine. Ain't nobody like you, Blaine. Thank you, guys. And thank you for all the drivers coming out. Let's have a good race.
Number 46, RJ Cabana from Archibald, Pennsylvania. I want to thank all the painters. This is going to be an awesome race. Glad to be a part of it. And shout out to my sister-in-law, Holly, out in California, and my family, Crystal, Jack, Luke, and Wes. Good luck, guys. Thanks.
In the 47, Tarnation TV, Blaine Donlin team, Craig Hagley out of Canaan Valley, West Virginia.
Chris Van Vliet driving the 48 Toyota team car out of Annapolis, Maryland. Thank you to Blaine and all of the painters. You guys do an amazing job. I want to say hello to my wife, Cindy, kids, Maddie, Casey, and Ryan, and the incredible, my father-in-law. We call him Baja.
Robert Breedlove driving the 49 Toyota. I want to thank all the painters, all the admins, and Jeffrey from Talladega Nights, and Seth and Michael for putting this on. Let's go racing, guys.
Well, there you have it. 4 teams, 10 drivers apiece. Only one team will emerge victorious at the end of the night. Best of luck to you all. Looking forward to it. Gonna try and keep all the numbers in order here. Gonna be kind of difficult with all the similar paint schemes, but we'll do our best. Good luck, everybody.
Buddy left your
Thank
channel.
you, Seth.
Thanks, Seth.
Oh, he
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Seth. Boogied out of here quick.
Thanks,
didn't he?
man, he exit stage left, didn't he?
All right.
Channel switched. Buddy was
All
moved
right,
to your
so
channel.
as the drivers will get themselves prepared for qualifying, a couple of things to note here real quickly. A couple of drivers here tonight that you heard in the driver intros, they were here as alternates in case the original drivers were not able to make it. Jeffrey Elliott piloting the number 45 for Team Donlin as an alternate for Alex Moe, and Graham McDonald for Team Sullins in the number 37, replacing the original driver Chuck McClure. So those two drivers showing up. They're the alternates tonight. I don't know. Is it tough to be an alternate, do you think? You haven't had the opportunity until tonight to be able to talk out strategy with your respective teammates. I know it's super speedway racing, and, you know, both Graham and Jeffrey, as we've seen in the past, are very adept to this style of racing. But when you're working in a teammate capacity like this, does it put you at a little bit of a disadvantage to be coming in so late?
Seth, your strategy. Go hard, turn left, pick the right lane, be there at the end.
Okay.
There you go.
That's all you got to do?
Yep.
And all 10 drivers of each team have to do that?
Yep.
There you go, guys. Michael, you should be a coach. You should go up there and coach one of the teams.
Hey, I coached you to a win, didn't I?
You did. You did indeed. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. We're going to have about 3 minutes here where these drivers will head out for qualifying. One thing I observed.
Quick,
Yep, go ahead.
Seth, if you don't mind me saying something real quick.
No, go ahead.
I wanted to ask you this earlier when we were talking to see if it was okay. So if it's not okay, then I apologize in advance. For those of you watching, Seth is good here in the future, couple weeks maybe, give or take, could become an uncle. So
Oh,
future
yes.
congratulations to you, Seth, and
appreciate it.
you know, it's our prayers are with your sister right now, hoping everything's going good and for a good childbirth process. And man, once again, congratulations.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we had a little bit of a scare yesterday, but everything seems to be going well. And yeah, potentially by this new year, maybe a little bit after, I will be an uncle. Looking forward to that. Prefer being an uncle than being a father, to be perfectly honest. I get to be the weird uncle. We need to specify that. I will be classified as the weird uncle. But yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, appreciate that, Michael.
Of course.
One thing I did notice here, some
Is
drivers,
it your face?
I notice it every day when I look in the mirror, yes. But a lot of drivers, they've made sure that even though they've got the respective liveries for their respective teams, you can actually see here on the screen, you know, a number of them with their old pit signs. Because it could be very difficult if you're coming down pit road and you look up and you see a Team Mob's pit sign. You're thinking, well, is that my pit sign or is that any of my other 9 teammates? So, you know, I can see Mark Paglia's pit sign there, Robert Breedlove's,
Or
see Brian Lovell's back there. So, yeah, you know, the familiarity's still there to make sure that you don't make a mistake that's going to cost your respective team.
Or you could do the smart route and just turn off all the other pit boxes aside from your own.
You could do that, but where's the fun in that? Come on, my immersion.
Yes, your immersion, but not their immersion.
Well, that's true. That's true. But hey, you know, nobody's gonna mind if you end up driving through like 3 pit stalls past where yours was, right? There's no hard feelings
It
in that.
happens all the time.
All
though.
the time. All the time.
Absolutely.
Want to take the opportunity. You heard all the shouting out there during the driver intros, but just want to also shout out the painters here tonight for the respective teams. Frank Divens Sr., Rodney Sullins, Bernie Mobbs, and Blaine Donlin. Of course, every single time that we bring you a broadcast here for Talladega Nights, you are seeing paint schemes that come out of those respective paint shops. Unbelievable paint schemes, look really flashy under the lights here on the racetrack. Hard work goes into these paint schemes, guys. I'm telling you, sometimes a paint scheme can take about 2 hours. Some of them can take up to 4 or 5 hours, depending on the detail that goes into them. So, big
And he
shout
would
out
know
to
because
those.
he is one.
I would definitely know. So, you know, shout out to those guys putting in the time, putting in the effort, putting in the work. Sometimes you get swamped. Sometimes you end up having like 2 or 3 paint schemes that need to be done at a certain point in time. So there is a lot of dedication that goes in to painting these cars. So big shout out to those drivers. Looks like qualifying has concluded. I think we had a tie for the pole, if I'm reading this right, Michael,
Oh, we
between
did, yes.
Breedlove and Ken Roberts, and they gave it to Breedlove.
Faster 100,000th of a second.
Wow. How about that? I think I saw 52.448. Dang. How about that?
Yeah.
Breedlove out of Team Donlin and Ken Roberts out of Team Sullins. So the Toyota bests the Chevrolet. I don't know. Do you give the advantage to that little jut out of the Toyota nose? Is that he just barely got to the start finish line quicker because of that?
I'm not sure. At 100,000th of a second.
Well, we'll blame it on that. We need the a little bit pointier of a nose for the Chevrolet Camaros, I guess. You also heard, how about this? First time, I believe, on FRN that we are seeing the 2024 Ford Dark Horse Mustang featured on the Team Divens Fords here tonight. Of course, that's going to be the Mustang they'll be driven in the NASCAR Cup Series in the 2024 season. So that's going to be kind of cool here tonight. See how those cars look out on the racetrack this evening. You see a couple of them passing by right there on pit road, just past our still cams. So, you know, from what I understand, they are still good at being able to push at super speedways. They've got those flares, though, just above the front wheels. So I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how the Dark Horse does here in its debut on FRN.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we've had a lot of people here in our chat, even before we came on the air, cheering on their respective drivers. Seeing some cheers for Team Ford, some cheers for Team Toyota. I think I saw one for Team Chevrolet there. Got the 4 different manufacturers represented here tonight. it's gonna, I was mentioning there before we ended up making our way out of the
Downtown,
driver room,
walking fast.
but at pit road speed though. We didn't want to get a speeding penalty. But interesting, I was mentioning about the fact that we're going to try and do our best here tonight to be able to pick out the different numbers, correlate them with the different drivers. It's going to be looking at this a little bit difficult for me in some respects, associating a driver with a manufacturer, because I can't remember the last time I've seen Joe DeSpirito or Bob Seminara in Dodge Chargers. This is going to be a new one for me. Grant Wesley, we've seen it at Dodge here in Talladega Nights in his 88, but there's a lot of drivers that, we're used to seeing with a respective manufacturer that are racing somewhere else in a manufacturer here tonight. So that's going to take a little bit of getting used to as well.
Absolutely.
Again, as I mentioned, folks, you will see it once we go green. You will see we have provided a spotter card for all of you that will be rotating on the screen during the entirety of this race, featuring.
Do you? Because I don't see it.
Well, I said once we go green. Did you
Oh.
miss that little piece of information?
I sure did.
You didn't read the fine print. It was in parentheses in very tiny 10 font size. But we will have that featured for you guys to be able to help you follow along with who is driving for what team, and then more importantly, who is driving what number for each team. Because as you can see, all the liveries are colored similarly. The only differences are the respective numbers. So you will see that during the course of this race, and hopefully we'll be able to adhere to it as well and not make nearly as many mistakes as I ended up making back in the last team race that we covered here for Talladega Nights. Granted, though, I believe in that one the numbers were not all in order, so that did make a slight difference. So this may be a little bit easier, at least on my end. We got about 50 seconds left here in happy hour before these drivers will get turned loose for 66 laps of racing here tonight. So, Michael, in regards to what we were talking about before we even had the driver introductions, the matter of trying to get everybody cloistered together as a team, do you maybe not even focus on that until pit stops? Because, like we were saying, there's a lot more cars in this field that are against you rather than are with you. They're not going to let you by, and you may end up costing yourself a good finish if you force the issue. Let's say you're like 3 or 4 teammates towards the rear of the field. Do you just maybe ride it out there at the back, wait until your teammates up at the front are saying, we're coming to pit road, pit with them, and then all get merged together?
I mean, that's gonna be a little more difficult said than done, I guess, because like you can try to do that, but it's gonna be. You think of the pit strategies you have to take. Say like your team split up, some in the front, some in the middle, some in the rear. Well, in order to stay together, the people in the rear are gonna have to take like gas only, while the people in the middle could take gas and maybe 2 tires, and the people at the front, in order to stay together, would have to take like 4 tires.
You don't think those people at the front might wait on those other guys?
I mean, you could, but that's also ground that you're losing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see. Can say I've seen the strategy on the other side of the coin. Had the privilege to run in a couple of team races here for Talladega Nights. Actually was a part of a winning team at one point as well. I can tell you, a lot of brainstorming goes into trying to figure out how to get all together, how to get the maximum amount of points, and
Why don't we pull
a lot of
somebody down and
communication
talk
as
to them?
well. I'm sorry, what was that?
Why don't we talk to Grant Wesley? Bring him down. Let's talk to him. See if he can give a little insight on some strategy.
Okay, well, he probably won't give too much away, but yeah, we'll see if we can dial him up. We see a number of the
channel.
Mobs Dodges there on pit road, and now look, they're gritting up there. Grant, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got a moment?
Oh yeah, I got you guys.
All right, so team race, completely different animal from just going out there for a normal points race. Talked about communication being a key thing here for the 10 drivers of each respective team. I know you don't want to give too much away, but just how much strategizing has gone on pre-race here?
We've been talking for sure. We're all in a whisper together. There's 10 of us, and we haven't really laid out a blueprint, if you will. But I think we're all going to try to find each other pretty quick on the track and probably get to the bottom, maybe.
Now, Michael and I were also talking about, maybe pit stops being a time that you guys might all try getting together. Is there something that might take place in that regard?
Yeah, we'll probably work together, try to pit together. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a whole different animal. It's not just one guy trying to get out there and win a race. I mean, it's collective points, and you're only as strong as your worst finisher. So, yeah, we're gonna be working together. Probably come down pit road together and try to make this deal happen.
All right. Well, looks like you got the highest starting spot there for the Team Mobs Dodges in the 3rd position. We'll let you get back to it. Best of luck. Looking forward to seeing all the strategy play out during the course of this 66-lap race. All
right, thanks.
All right, as Grant Wesley will go back to communicating with his
I did
team.
just break into a Beyonce song.
I did notice you did that. I hope you did the hand gesture as well.
I didn't.
Oh, come on.
I don't even remember what the hand gesture was.
It's you got your hand straight up in the air like as if you're gonna high five somebody, but you like wiggle the hand back and forth. Are you doing it now?
Maybe.
Better late than never. Seeing a lot of the Mobs Motorsports Dodges up here towards the front of the field inside this top 10.
Speaking of Dodges, there was one that was bringing up the rear of the field. I didn't quite see who that was.
That would be 25 Tom Dixon, and he's kind of hanging back there. I don't know if there's an issue on his machine or not.
That'd be an awfully terrible start to this race for the Dodges.
Really would.
Especially to be one person down.
So from what I'm seeing here, you've got 4 Dodges, 3 Toyotas, 2 Fords, and 1 lone Chevrolet up inside of the top 10. You got to go all the way back to 12th position for the next Chevrolet Camaro. So Ken Roberts, for the moment, is going to be a man on an island. He's going to have to maybe try and find some friends, maybe align himself maybe with the Toyotas against the Dodges. We've seen that in the past, too, in team races where maybe you don't exactly have the numbers, but you can find a manufacturer to work with because kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend scenario, and then wait it out and see if some of your teammates can get up there to you. We'll see how this all works out as Breedlove and Roberts, who tied for the pole, ladies and gentlemen. It had to go down to the 100,000th as to who got the pole position. They're going to bring us to the green. This one's in honor of the Big Four painters for Talladega Nights. We're racing here this evening. And it's going to be Breedlove leading us into turn 1.
Pretty good start there. Let's see how quickly the Dodges can work together. You would think that the 27 would maybe back off just a slight bit to let the other Dodge in line, but I mean, the inside isn't necessarily the lane you want to be in right now.
How about this? Got a couple of Fords down in the apron falling to the back. So already strategy out of the Team Divins camp.
Points aren't everything at the start of the race. They're only rewarded at the end.
Absolutely. You want to have that car in one piece at the conclusion. What was that old saying? You can't win the race on the first lap, but you can surely lose it.
Hey Seth, you want to play a game?
Are you what's his name? Jigsaw?
Maybe. What lap do you think the first caution will be on?
No, we're not playing that game.
Yes, we are.
I already won that game the last time we did.
Well,
I'm keeping my
again. I want a rematch.
Nope, I'm keeping my 1,000% batting average.
Nope, it's too late. I already asked the question.
Well, you can keep that question to yourself. Ask the chat. The chat will play the game with you.
Okay, then we'll play another game then. Who do you think's going to win the race?
Oh.
And I don't mean team. I meant specific driver.
Talk to me later, like with about 10 to go.
Nope, you have to tell me now.
Nope, I'm not jinxing nobody, and I'm not causing a caution. It's too much high stakes here for a commentator curse to come into play.
You're no fun.
I know. Robert Breedlove gonna lead this first lap. Yes, he is. Bear in mind, bonus points.
First lap, by the way.
Huh?
That was not the first lap.
Oh, you're right. That wasn't the first lap, but it's still a lap, and that is still a bonus point, which is paid out. Drivers get bonus points for laps led, and we've got a caution already.
Well,
something happened at the back of the pack because I didn't see anybody up at the front or the mid pack with an issue.
Back here, and Jeffrey Elliott spun around on the bottom with some rear end damage to that 45.
Ooh, a lot of damage there.
And the 18 of Perry Bond also.
It's like a couple of drivers out of Team Ford, one driver out of Team Toyota. Jeffrey Elliott. Oh man, there's actually a lot of damage on the right side of that car too. Jeffrey, one of the alternate drivers for Team Toyota here tonight, Team Donlin, as his teammate Robert Breedlove brought them
Well,
back
Seth,
to
I
the
blame
caution.
you for causing the caution.
I didn't call a lap. You cannot blame me
It
for
doesn't
this.
matter. You still talked about it. You said you didn't want to do
You
it, and guess
told
what? You
me
did
to.
it.
You started the conversation.
Nope,
all
your
right.
fault.
Okay.
You guys, this is how we get along as a commentator group.
Well, Matt Stern played your game. He said lap 8 and that Greg Lovell was going to win the race. So he's wrong on the first count, but might be right on the second count. We'll wait and see. Let's go back and see what brought out the first yellow flag. Not the start that Team Donlin was looking for here. Is, oh gosh, that 45 actually went up and over. That's not good news. If you're wanting to remain up to speed, might have been a checkup. Oh, there's a checkup on the bottom. That's the 42 getting hooked up into the wall. Blaine Donlin up into Jeffrey Elliott, and he got tagged from behind by one of the Fords. Could have possibly been Perry Bond in the 14. Or in the 18, I'm sorry.
Wow, don't even know his number.
I said tonight was going to be confusing for me. Not as confusing as usual, but still confusing. Let's get another camera angle here. We're going to focus on the 18 of Perry Bond. Yeah, they just checked up there. It looked like Eric Lovell in the 13 was behind Perry Bond in the 18, and they all just started chain bumping. 18 gets into the 42, sends him up into the 45. And the wreck ensues from there. Definitely Team Toyota getting the worst out of that with the 42 and the 45. Getting some really good contact there. Perry Bond, pretty good shot. Tom Dixon comes to a stop to avoid. Woo, just barely on the brakes there was Brian Lovell in the 12. So about a 3-car incident there, bringing out this first yellow of the evening. But like I said, team races, a different animal from a normal points paying race. If the engine is still running on any of those cars, they're almost obligated to stay out there, salvage what they can until the end of this race to get even the minutest amount of points, because it could be a difference maker if it gets really close at the end for their team against another team.
Yeah, and it's already very interesting to say the least.
I was going to mention before we had that incident, you can see up on the left side of your screen, that's the spotter list that we have for you, each respective driver from each respective team out of Team Divins, Team Mobs, Team Sullins, and Team Donlin. You'll be able to adhere to during the course of the evening, as you clearly saw there under that replay. I have already failed to adhere to it, calling out wrong number on a specific car.
Yep.
And I guarantee you that will not be the last time that will happen tonight.
Spoiled it.
About half the field split into pitting and not pitting. Looks like 20 drivers stayed out under this yellow flag, and we might have some more coming down pit road here on this lap. I think I saw one of the Team Sullins Chevrolets peeling out of line to come down pit road. A couple of others coming down behind him. But look how this has changed. Remember we saw all of the Dodges up here at the front? Now you got about 4 Toyotas, and I think I saw 5 or 6 Chevrolets that'll probably be up there inside of the top 12 on this upcoming restart. So Ken Roberts, who had nobody around him for teammates in the first few laps of this race, now you look back and there's a near half dozen teammates that are going to be only about 2 cars behind him on the upcoming restart.
Yeah, how many caution laps we get here will help set up to know when the point of no return is for later in the race.
I'd assume we should get lights out next time by, if I'm not mistaken.
What, 2 laps?
I think it's 3.
That's what I'm saying, but it's already been 2 laps, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Looks like most of the Dodge teammates came down pit road. I think most of the Fords did as well. And a lot of them are going to be starting up highest of the drivers that came to pit lane. Dan Lovell, Greg Lovell, Mark Paglia, all at this point scheduled to restart around 16th, 17th, 18th, but I think that will increase once they come back around with the drivers that we had on pit road here into the second lap of caution. Going to have 3 of the Toyota team up inside of the top 5 here for this restart. And then 2 Chevrolets. Kelly Causey's now up in 5th position. Someone for Ken Roberts to be able to work with. So yeah, we should get the lights out this next time by. And they will double up
Man, I
and
see
get
a
ready
lot
for the
of
restart. A lot of level.
Yep, in one of your little team.
Oh yeah, Greg, Brian, Eric, and Dan.
Yeah, and there is a lot of red up there, like you said, Seth, in the top 10 so far.
But about half of those Chevrolets you saw right there, they just peeled off onto pit road. Some split strategy here for the Chevrolet camp. Very interesting. See all the Dodges clumped together back there. A lot of green Toyotas up here towards the front, though. Robert Breedlove gonna have the 40 of Nate Balser right behind him, so those two will be able to work together. And then look at them lined up there on the top outside line of rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is Craig Hagley, RJ Cabana, Chris Van Vliet, and Josh Slocum. We saw Josh actually get a runner-up finish in the last Talladega Nights Shake and Bake race that we broadcasted. Came up just short in a photo finish against Mark Paglia. Most of the Fords towards the back of the pack. Looks like they're playing the conservative strategy in the early going. We saw a number of them kind of bail out and fall to the rear of the field at the initial drop of the green flag. They then came down pit road under this caution period. A couple of them came down pit road twice. I'm seeing 2 pit stops for Dan Lovell, Greg Lovell, Mark Paglia, Randy Waugh, Keith Bynum, Gary Heiser, Eric Lovell. Those guys all out of the Frank Divins team camp.
Some red up here again, but I see a lot of green and a lot of yellow.
There is one car that we will not be able to see tonight. Not certain why the livery is not showing up. The one generic car that you'll see here this evening will be showing up white and green, but it is not out of the Team Donlin camp. It is actually out of the Team Divins camp, that being the 19 of Keith Bynum. All right. Worked our first caution. Let's see if these drivers will get settled in for a long green flag run. Robert Breedlove has led the first 6 laps so far. He's going to lead the 7th as he'll put us back under the green. Ken Roberts to his outside. Then Nate Balser, Kelly Causey, and RJ Cabana, the top 5.
Cole Cabana?
The Coca Cabana. Copa Cabana, not Coca.
Wow. And you call yourself a racing fan?
It's not even a...
Alright, shut up.
Okay.
Anyways, going down the back straightaway here. You see these cars breaking up. Look at all the yellow Fords, or excuse me, the yellow Dodges, trying to get up on the outside lane there. The inside lane is all but kaput, so if you feel like those 2 Toyotas should get up to the top lane right there.
For now, they're going to stay hugging the yellow line out of turn 4.
I was about to say, I was like, I didn't literally mean to shut up, Seth.
No, you got this. It's all you.
Help.
Point of note, all drivers involved in that last incident, they have continued on. All 40 cars are still running on the lead lap at this point in time. There you go. Ken Roberts got himself clear on that inside line. I believe that's Roberts.
33, I believe.
Oh, that's a 33. So that'd be Zach Roberts, actually.
One of the Roberts.
One of the Roberts. Gets up in front of Kelly Causey. Ken Roberts is the third car in line of that Team Chevrolet trio.
And as soon as you get one car that pulls up, they just the air that they create for the car behind them just sucks them right up to their back bumpers, and then they just go forward.
It's all about momentum when it comes to super speedway racing, and definitely the momentum is in that middle line right now. Now you got an interesting situation here with 3 Toyotas in the middle line, 3 Toyotas on the bottom line. You could kind of maybe create a wall, box all the other manufacturers behind you, but Team Dodge is not content with that. They just made a third lane. There's about 6 of them up there, and the Toyota saw it coming. And now the Chevys have gotten broken up. Zach Roberts. Oh, got a wreck in the back! It's one of the Chevrolets right in the middle of the pack, and I believe we got a big one. Yeah, oh man, there's a lot of wrecked cars back there in the middle of 3 and 4.
Perry Bond, Greg Palmer, Brian Rawson, Eric Lovell.
We got one upside down, 43 of Chris Elliott.
Greg Heiser, Dan Lovell still wrecking. Keith Bynum, that was a big. Jeffrey Elliott also slowly coming through here.
Doesn't look like the strategy of running at the back worked out for Team Ford on that one. About 3, 4, 5 of them in the vicinity of this wreck. There's Graham McDonald, one of our alternates tonight. Both of our alternates have been swept up in the first 2 yellows, and now we got smoke over here in turn 1. Somebody got spun, I think, coming back to the start-finish line. I guess they saved it because there's nobody there now. But I don't know who that was. Blaine Donlin on pit road. Chris Elliott, who was upside down, had to take the teleport to pit road on his stall. And you just saw Jeffrey Elliott coming back down pit lane. This has not been a good start to the night for Team Donlin or Team Divins, at least in the get-go of these first 2 cautions. Let's take a look at what happened this time around over in 3. Started with one of the Chevys on the inside line. Not sure which one it was. Mike Mangialardi, I believe. And it was some more checkup, like we saw with the first yellow, over into turn 3. This time, I believe it is John Godfrey and Mike Mangialardi that are the victims of the checkup. Mangialardi goes around, and look at all the blue Fords trying to dodge, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6, maybe 7 of them collected up.
Yeah, it was a big wreck.
Brian Rawson caught some air, and I think he might have flipped over. I think there were 3 Chevrolets, 3 or 4, involved in that. At least 2 Toyotas. I don't think any of the Dodges were in that, though. Let's find the 43 of Chris Elliott, see how he ended up on his lid. Comes to a stop up on the top side, little contact there, and then gets hit from behind by, I think that's the 41 of Pat McCarskey. Then he barrel rolls down the banking and ends up on his lid. 32 of Greg Palmer was in that for Team Chevy. Keith Bynum for Team Ford. We'll take a look at it here from the aerial view. You can follow along with each respective number on the roof.
Yeah, it's just melee here at the turn. That was crazy.
At 36 of Brian Rawson definitely went up and over a couple of times. Barrel rolled down the banking there.
Some of these cars are tough and can handle that, but I guess we're gonna wait and see.
Yeah.
We have 1 car out of the race already officially. That is the 45.
45 of Jeffrey Elliott. So that is one of the representatives out of Team Toyota, Team Donlin.
And the 43 is 1 lap down.
Chris Elliott losing the lap by virtue of having to call the tow. Well, surprisingly though, folks, that does not mean that Team Toyota is out of it. The rest of the team could easily come up here and finish inside of the top 10. Get enough points to be able to win the team race here tonight. It's cumulative of all drivers, and remember, at least one of Team Toyota has led a lap tonight, that being Robert Breedlove, so that's a bonus point headed in the direction of Team Donlin. As I'm looking here to see of other teams that have led a lap tonight, you got a lap led for Team Toyota with Craig Hagley, a lap led for Team Chevrolet with Zach Roberts, and one also for Team Chevrolet with Ken Roberts. Also, Doug Hulick just stayed out and led the first lap for Team Dodge. Each driver that leads a lap gets a bonus point, and the driver that leads the most laps gets another extra bonus point for their team. So a lot of calculations go into who ends up winning the team championship and who does not. All right, pretty split up here at the front with Dodges, Fords, and Toyotas inside of the top 5. We're going to step aside for a quick FRN race break, and then we will be back here to the action in the Talladega Nights Big 4 Painters Team Race from Talladega Nights Super Speedway. Don't go anywhere. Coverage continues right after this. Lap 15 is when we will get our second restart of the night here for the Talladega Nights Big 4 Painters Team Race. Bob Sire for Team Mobs going to be the one to lead us back to green. He'll have Denny Carroll for Team Divins on his outside. Then a couple more Mobs Motorsports Dodges in row 2 with Joe DeSpirito and Bob Seminara. Then the highest of the Team Donlin Toyotas will be Robert Breedlove, the pole sitter, completing the top 5. 38 drivers still scored in this race, 37 on the lead lap. Bad news continues for the Team Donlin Toyota camp. Jeffrey Elliott, the first retiree, not that far behind him with a mechanical problem, Blaine Donlin. So 2 DNFs for the green Toyotas in this one. Green flag back in the air. Bob Sire with the push from Joe DeSpirito, completing lap 14. Appreciate everybody tuning into our coverage here tonight. Looks like we've got about 25 people watching this evening. Hope you guys are enjoying our coverage of tonight's special event on FRN. If you are, please consider giving this video a like. If you're not already, subscribe to continue seeing great content like this. And if you want to be notified whenever we go live with a broadcast, be sure if you're on your phone to hit that bell notification. As split up there are the Dodges. Bob Sire moved up to the outside line. Joe DeSpirito will now take the race lead. This could be strategy, though, trying to get as many Dodge drivers a lap led. Sire already led one, now DeSpirito leads one. That's another bonus point that heads in the direction of the Dodge team. You got some other drivers up here that might be looking to lead laps as well. Grant Wesley in the 28, third on that inside line. You've got the Toyota of, I believe that is Breedlove, separating the two of them. And then you got, look at this. All hope is not lost for Team Toyota. You've got 5 of them up here on this inside line. The 40 of Nate Balser, the 46 of RJ Cabana, 48 of Chris Van Vliet, and the 44 of Josh Slocum. They could still sweep the top 5 tonight, and maybe still, even with 2 of their teammates back in the garage, give Team Toyota the victory. Third line forming up on that top side. Those Chevrolets seem to like it up there. So second time we've seen the red Chevys up on that third lane. I believe that is Zach Roberts leading that brigade with Rodney Sullins and Brian Schilling. And then a couple of the Team Divins Dodges peppered in there as well. The Chevrolets and the Fords, I should say. They are working together right now up on the top side. Breedlove going to move up to the outside line, and the Toyotas look like they're going to take the middle groove against the Dodges. The Dodges look back, and they see some teammates there, about 2.5 car lengths back. Bob Seminara and Doug Hulick trying to get them up here. Correction, make that Bob Dixon, rather, in the 23. Told you I'd be having difficulty with the numbers here tonight. The numbers, the manufacturers. And how about this? Dodges on the bottom. Toyota's in the middle. Chevy's on the top. This is what the team race is all about. 3-way battle for the lead. 3 different manufacturers. Who the heck is going to prevail here coming back to the start-finish line? Things super tight. Got a couple of Fords up there on that outside line, helping the Chevrolets, Randy Waugh and Eric Lovell amongst them. Toyota's in that middle line, drifting back a bit. Looks like momentum's on the bottom with the Dodges. Chevys look to battle back. Contact there. Ooh, nice save. I think that was the 20 of Bernie Mobbs, who was able to gather it up through the tri-oval. But Joe DeSpirito and the Dodges, they are going to edge ahead here through 1 and 2. 4 of them lined up nose to tail with, oh, look at this, DeSpirito moving up to the top. Again, strategy, giving the lead, literally giving the lead to the 28 of Grant Wesley so that way he can go up and get a bonus point for a lap led. And then you got Bob Seminara behind him, who I do not believe has led a lap. So you may end up seeing if the 28 leads this lap, he's going to jump up out of line and let Seminara have a turn out in front. But look at how that move for Joe DeSpirito has cost him. He got put in the middle, and he is shuffled all the way back outside of the top 10, even outside the top 15. Now the 21's going to move up to the outside line here to try and lead a lap, but the Chevrolets are going to have none of that. They're going to stick him in the middle lane.
Come back to some good racing here. Apologies for being away. I had to step aside real quick, but I see these guys back underway, green flag racing, and so I gotta tell you, this track has some really good concession stands.
Does it really? What
Oh,
did you
yeah.
manage to get this time?
Let's see. I managed to get some pizza from
Pizza? Okay.
Yep. Hunt Brothers Pizza. Pretty good here. Got some and would you believe it or not, I got some Martinsville hot dogs.
I wouldn't believe it.
Well, here you go. See, Martinsville hot dogs.
We're nowhere near Martinsville, my friend.
Someone was selling them, so you know they might have to.
Ooh, bootleg. Oh, we got a wreck.
Oh, another wreck right there. I see it happening.
Oh.
Multiple cars over. Multiple of the Dodges flipping wildly in the back.
Ulysses Sandoval in the 26, Bernie Mobbs in the 20. That, I believe, might be one of the drivers you were referring to that flipped over. You see the roof damage for him. Keith Bynum for Team Ford. Another of the Team Ford cars were back there. I think that was Perry Bond in the 18. Tom Dixon in the 25. Brian Lovell in the 12. There's Brian Rawson in the 36. We saw him just barely at the end of that wreck in the far right of the camera as the other cars are making their way down the back straightaway. And there is another of the Dodges that I believe you were referring to that flipped over. Michael Bobby Farrell on pit road. You can visibly see the roof damage from here. Oof. It was looking good for Team Dodge. We saw the strategery going on there with Despirito leading a lap. And then Grant Wesley leading a lap. And they were trying to get Bob Seminara a lap led. But now those bonus points might look a little bit better for their scenario with a couple of their teammates very badly damaged in this one. Let's go back, take a look at what happened. Our first two wrecks have taken place over in the entrance to turn 3. This is the first one over in the middle of 1 and 2. Try and figure out where this one started. Let's focus on the 20 of Bernie Mobbs. Yeah, they started stacking up on that inside line. 29 of Bobby Farrell gets into the back of Bernie Mobbs. There you see them up and over. Keith Bynum as well. Looks like Tom Dixon got through unscathed, but at least 3 of the Mobbs Motor Dodges collected up in that one. A couple of the Frank Divens Fords, and I believe 1 of the Rodney Sullivan's Chevrolets.
That's a lot of cars came down pit road here, but a bunch of cars stayed out. Matt Stern says, I seen him trying to get into Beer Garden. That is why he used the Martinsville hot dog story.
Matt's snitching on you.
I don't know what he's talking about.
We had 4 actually, 4 cars up and over. Also add in the 18 of Perry Bond.
Matt, I'm not sure.
The Flip Brigade.
Matt, I'm not sure if that was me you're thinking about there, because I don't remember or know of a beer garden for so.
You live in Florida. They have beer gardens everywhere.
Well, they would have beer gardens in every state that has beer, so.
Well, true. But would they have gardens? What is it? New Jersey is the garden state, I think. Something like that.
Not sure.
Well, we're going to wait and see what the verdict is on the 29 of Bobby Farrell and the 20 of Bernie Mobbs. But Dodge could find themselves in a bit of a hole points-wise if neither of those drivers are able to continue. Bernie Mobbs is actually still out there. He is the 8th car in line right now. Don't know if he's waiting to come down pit road here under this next lap of caution or not. Chris Elliott, I do believe, is back on the racetrack, and with this yellow, he would be the recipient of the free pass. Yeah, there he is right there. There's the 43. So he would get the lucky dog, and he would be back on the lead lap. So that's some good news for Team Toyota as Rodney Sullins gets himself a lap led. Now he'll make the dive to pit road. Brian Schilling will stay out, so that'll be a lap led for another driver out of Team Chevy.
Racking up these points.
Yeah, a lot of strategy coming into play, not only under green like we saw there on that last run, but also here under caution of, you know, you stay out an extra lap and lead a lap, I'll give you the top position as I pit, and then kind of domino affecting that. But I think, nope, never mind. I thought the lights had gone. I was going to say it could end up costing you if you do that too many times, where one of your teammates has to stay out to lead that lap, but they're not able to take on that needed fuel for the entirety of the run. Right now, Robert Breedlove would hold the bonus point for Team Toyota for most laps led. He's led 8 laps so far. The closest to him is a tie for second most at 3, and that's between Zach Roberts and Joe DeSpirito. So as of this moment, nobody is even close to taking that bonus point away from Team Donlin. Well, folks, as things look right now, I believe this is potentially going to be the final broadcast of 2023 here on FRN. I know it is definitely at least going to be the final race before Christmas. So I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great time with friends and family and feasting.
Happy holidays. Got to cover all bases. Happy holidays.
All bases.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Which base is each one?
Yes.
Christmas is third base because there's ho ho ho. There's 3 hoes. Kwanzaa, I don't know. Would Kwanzaa maybe be second base? And Hanukkah will be first base. So wait, then what's home plate?
Yes.
Good photo finish right there between Brian Rawson and the pace car. I think the pace car edged him out.
These last of these Chevy cars coming in to top off, and Seth, well, that could have taken a lot of the Dodges out. We documented anyone else who was out of this race, like the 42 with his clutch problems?
As of right now, nobody else outside of the 2 we had already listed of Donlin and Elliott. Farrell still listed in this race. Bernie Mobbs came down pit road. They sent him back out, repaired whatever damage they could, so he's still trucking. But I doubt with the roof damage we saw that he's going to be up to speed.
Now it's going to be now it's just going to be a problem of trying to. Now it's going to be just a problem of trying to see if they could keep up with the pack here for more cars to wreck.
And is Rawson taking the top? It looks like he is. So there's 2 things that are happening here. I would have thought he would want to take the bottom because then he'd be lined up with Chevy teammate Zach Roberts. At the same time, though, if you kind of kitty corner that way, you're also breaking up the Dodges from working together. Because if you took the bottom, then you would have had Grant Wesley and Bob Dixon lined up nose to tail. This is interesting. I'm not exactly 100% sure how I feel about that strategy.
Well,
I mean, are you thinking that maybe you can defend enough against that second lane and have potentially Zach Roberts get around Grant Wesley to lead a lap for Team Chevy or something? I don't know. Has Zach led a lap yet? He has. All right, so wouldn't be a strategy to get the 33 to the lead. I don't know. We'll see how this one plays out. Brian Rawson going to be the leader. Grant Wesley second. Zach Roberts, Bob Dixon, Robert Breedlove going to be your top 5.
Green flag back out. Here we go.
Randy Wan 6th, the highest of Team Ford.
Luigi. Well, the 28 going and the 33 going too. They got a heck of a jump. The 38 damaged. Because look, yeah, the 38 has damage.
No, the 36. Yeah, Rawson was involved, I believe, in the... I think he was involved in the last caution. Yeah,
well, he's holding up the outside lane pretty good.
And now Grant Wesley all by his lonesome. No Dodges as far as the eye can see until you get back to around 7th or 8th. The Chevrolet of Zach Roberts is going to lead a trio of Toyotas But how long until they ditch him to try and go to lead themselves? That's Breedlove, Chris Van Vliet, and RJ Cabana, and they're going to go to the outside of him here at the start-finish line heading into turn 1. Here comes some Chevy help on the inside. 31 of John Godfrey.
Come on, those Toyotas. You ever want to play almost said plank? Play a
plank
on somebody that it's like, hey, I bought you a Toyota, and they go outside and it's an actual Toyota though. Yeah, I got you thinking, didn't I?
Wait, say that one again?
Okay, play a prank on somebody. You tell them, you give them a set of keys, just random keys, and say, I got you a new Toyota.
Yep.
And they go out running outside thinking they're all happy, and they steal an actual Toyota. Get it? Yoda from Star Wars, Toyota.
Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, that
Wow,
one didn't hit home.
That one went above your head.
Maybe somebody in our chat laughed at it. I don't know.
That's possible. Shout out to those who laughed at that joke.
Zach Roberts, John Godfrey, 1-2 for Team Chevrolet. Then you've got a couple of Dodges behind them. Toyota's not very organized up there on that top side.
They're about as organized as my closet.
And I can attest to this. I've seen his closet. But he hasn't seen my closet, so I can tell him whatever I want, and he won't know if I'm telling the truth or not.
I'll believe what I want to believe.
That's true. Updates on the couple of drivers involved in the more recent cautions. Chris Elliott indeed did get the lucky dog. Bobby Farrell has returned to the track 2 laps down. So 38 drivers still running, 37 on the lead lap at this point in time. And maybe if we have another caution period, I'll try and go through and list off all the drivers that have led for each respective team, but it's going to take a little bit of time, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it under green flag conditions here. So hopefully you guys have all been keeping track at home as to who has led what amount of laps for each respective team. The Chevrolets right now seem to have the inside line pretty well in hand, and then there's just like interspersed Dodges and Fords. You've got Grant Wesley third there in line. Greg Lovell is fifth. Right behind him, you've got another Dodge, and I think that's Doug Hewlick. Behind him, another Ford. I think that's Mark Paglia.
Mark Paglia.
Of course, Mark Paglia coming off that victory last Saturday night in the Shake and Bake series here for Talladega Nights. Just got to give you a little confidence coming into a race like this at the same racetrack.
Absolutely.
3 wide further back. Bunch of the Fords and Chevrolets in the middle of that one, and a few Dodges.
Beginning to single file out a little bit here at the front, going to run the bottom, and hopefully these drivers have learned as they're catching a lap Dodge.
It would either be Mobbs or Farrell, I would assume.
Let's see.
Yep, that's Bobby Farrell. Bobby Farrell just out there logging laps, trying to get whatever points he can for Team Dodge. Farrell did not lead a lap yet tonight. So one of the Dodges that does not have the bonus point in the bank. Doug Hewlick jumping up to that outside line. You got to wonder if he gets enough of a run. Does Grant Wesley go up there with him? Oh, well, not going to get a chance. Ken Roberts just jumped up there in front of him, blocking the momentum of that lane. Grant's going to go up there nonetheless, and the Toyotas, not content to ride in line, they're going to go up to the third lane. Kind of looks like Robert Breedlove is the Pied Piper of the Toyota gang here tonight. Fastest car on the track in qualifying, started from the pole position. He's been up inside of the top 10 all evening long. And all the Toyota Camrys have pretty much followed wherever he has led. Now trying to make that third line work again. They had success with it earlier on in this race, so they're trying to do it once more.
Yeah, I just noticed all the Chevys up there, or excuse me, Toyotas up there. As much as I want them to be Chevys, they're all Toyotas. But yeah, they're trying to get it going, but it's kind of like stalling out for the moment. We'll see what kind of.
Oh, gracious! And there we go, the big one. Oh my gosh!
I only see 5, 6 cars, 7, maybe 8, maybe 7 cars that might have went through that without getting involved in that.
Wow.
That was the huge one. Although I will say, not a lot of these cars look really damaged.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for as much skidding and smoking that was going on there.
Who's smoking?
There were, there was smoke coming from the tires, but it was definitely looking like there was.
From the tires. It wasn't from the cockpit, right?
No, hopefully not.
No, I'm kidding.
But
yes.
it was definitely looking like a lot of light contact, if there is such a thing. Not so for Ken Roberts, though. Looks like maybe out of all the drivers involved, he got the worst. Started from the outside of the front row, did Ken.
By the way, shout out to Frank Divins for the a Toyota in the chat.
So he got your joke. Bobby Farrell going to be the recipient of the lucky dog under this caution, so he will be 2 laps down when we go back green. Let's see how this starts. A Chevy was way out of shape, and it might have been the 35 of Ken Roberts. And does he get a bad bump here from a Dodge behind him? Looks like, looks like he bumper grabbed off the Dodge in front of him. Well, it was Doug Kulik that went up in the air. Ken Roberts barrel rolling, slams into the inside wall. Pretty much try and find your driver and see if they were in it or not. As you mentioned, Michael, only a few select were able to get through there without any contact. Watch the 22 of Kulik. Look at the air that he catches here on the back straightaway.
I feel like that could have been a bad bump.
I think it was some bumper grab. The lead Dodge in that middle lane, Ken bumper grabbed off the back of him. I think that was Grant Wesley, if I'm not mistaken, that he bumper grabbed off of. They almost had it saved, but when you're 3 wide, there's just not enough time for that outside line to check up enough with the mile-per-hour difference. Take a look at it here as the field comes barreling towards you. A couple other cars went up and over there. The 48 of Chris Van Vliet and the 16 of Mark Paglia.
Absolutely crazy.
Fourth caution of the night. Just past the halfway point here in tonight's Talladega Nights Big Four Painters Tribute Team Race. John Godfrey going to stay out and lead a lap. That's his first lap led of the night, so another bonus point for Team Chevrolet. Mentioned that up until that last caution.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, I don't know if you're going to hear that on the stream, but that was a major, from what I just heard on my end, like a sound spike. I'm not sure where that came from, but that was a pretty bad sound spike.
Oh. Hopefully not on my end. If it is on my end, let me know.
I only saw it once. Or I saw it. No, I heard it just this once, and it's gone away. So.
Okay. I'll adjust my microphone a little further away then to avoid that. This is caution number 4. Got somebody asking in our chat here. Larry, caution number 4 at this point in time, as you got some Chevrolets and Dodges coming down pit road here. Going to turn
Just
the lead over to
halfway.
Graham McDonald.
Yep, just after halfway.
Yeah, Graham, this is his first lap led. He was involved in the second caution of the night, one of the alternate drivers filling in for Chuck McClure this evening. I was going to mention, though, that the bonus point for most laps led have shifted. It was Team Toyota with Robert Breedlove that had it. Breedlove's 9 laps led, but Zach Roberts, after that last run, has now given the bonus point to Team Chevrolet, Team Sullins, with 10 circuits out in front. And I have a feeling that bonus point's going to shuffle a couple more times before all is said and done here this evening.
It definitely might.
Okay, so I'm going to try here, to the best of my ability, to name off the drivers for each respective team that has led a lap so far tonight. Remember, each driver gets a bonus point. It's not just one bonus point for the overall team. It is 1 point per driver. So we'll start here with Team Ford, Team Divins. And as I'm cycling down through the list here, it does not look, I'm going to double check one more time, but it doesn't look like any of the Fords have led a lap yet tonight. Let me just double check that, make absolutely certain. No, none of the Fords have led a lap yet. And that could be...
I don't remember any of them really being much towards the front.
Yeah, so far as 0 in the lap led category for all of the Dark Horse Ford Mustangs. Let's look at the Dodges out of Team Mobs. Looks like Grant Wesley has been out in front. Doug Hulick. Joe DeSpirito. Bob Sire. Those are the drivers that have led so far for Team Dodge. Moving over to Team Chevrolet, I believe they have had the most drivers out in front so far. Graham McDonald just led a lap, as we saw. Brian Schilling has been out in front. Zach Roberts has, obviously, as we just mentioned, led the most laps. Rodney Sullins has led a lap. John Godfrey has led a lap. Ken Roberts has led a lap. And Brian Rawson has led a lap. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that means that all but 3 drivers out of Team Chevrolet have not led yet tonight. Easy for me to say. That'd be Kelly Causey, Greg Palmer, and Mike Mangialardi. And as we've gotten the 1 to green signal, I'm going to quickly read through the drivers that have led for Team Toyota. And that would include your current race leader, Chris Elliott, who, remember, under the prior caution, got the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap. So he's got a bonus point for Team Toyota. Robert Breedlove, he's led 9 laps so far tonight. So he's got a bonus point for Team Toyota. And I believe Craig Hagley is the other driver so far that has led for Team Donlin. So in terms of the bonus points for laps led, Team Chevrolet is currently in the lead in that category. But as they line up for this restart, again, second restart where the race leader is going to elect the top side. That will be the Toyota of Chris Elliott. He'll have Denny Carroll, the highest running Ford, to his inside. Then it's the highest running Dodge of Grant Wesley in third, and the highest running Chevrolet of Brian Schilling in fourth. So it is a complete representation of all 4 manufacturers in our first 2 rows as we get ready to go back green flag racing with what will be 29 laps remaining in tonight's Big 4 Painters team race.
Well, so far, Seth, we haven't seen, we've seen teams work together, but we haven't seen a team of a significant amount of cars be able to kind of pull away in the front, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like where they were nose to tail, just leading from like first through like 7th or whatever. We haven't really seen that. We've seen them try, but we haven't really seen that much today. So it's right now kind of starting to seem like every man for himself in the way getting closer towards the end of this race.
Yeah, to your point, we've seen a cluster of teammates up together, but they've been broken up by a few drivers here and a few drivers there. Maybe the Toyotas have been the most organized. We've seen them a couple of times get 3, 4, 5 cars get lined up on that outside line, able to work together. But aside from that, yeah, it's been very difficult, it seems, tonight for drivers to get themselves all positioned nose to tail in one solid team line. Denny Carroll, I believe, actually led that lap coming back to the green flag.
And after all this wrecking, including the huge one, we still only have 2 drivers out of this race.
That would be Blaine Donlin and Jeffrey Elliott. Going back there to that lap led by Denny Carroll, I don't know if that will end up counting or not. They are showing the black flag for the 11, which I believe has been cleared. Normally, if the driver on the outside line, the race leader, is the control car, if they choose the outside line, you're not supposed to pass them before the start-finish line, which the 11 did, unless the 43 just didn't get a good enough free start. I don't know what the whole ruling is on that, but if it stands, then the 11 of Denny Carroll is the first Ford dark horse tonight to lead a lap for Team Divins. Close there at the line. Chris Elliott trying to charge back. Get another lap led, not able to do so. That's Randy Waugh up there on that extreme outside line. He's got 5 Dodges behind him. It's about to be a Toyota and a Ford sandwich here going into turn 3. Chevrolets are kind of boxed in there in the middle line. They got another trio of Chevrolets not too far behind them. We'll see if they drop down into that middle groove or stay up top with the Dodges. Speaking of Dodge, Grant Wesley's Dodge going to jump up there to the middle line. As he goes up, Chris Elliott goes down. Correction, that's not Chris Elliott. That's actually RJ Cabana.
Caution.
Caution, and I see somebody back there. Oh, that was actually, okay, I thought I saw someone on the apron.
Bobby
That was the
Farrell's
pace car
blown
coming
up.
out.
Could it have been a Bobby Farrell blowing up, maybe?
You'd be correct. Farrell got one of his 3 laps back under the last caution.
Oh,
Ran
yeah,
that
his
thing
car
out
just
to the
blew up.
last.
Right there, yep, and it just blew up.
So Bobby
that very well-
Farrell's engine failure brings out the 5th caution of the night. Well, we mentioned it. If you're involved in a wreck with the way the team race works out and the point system, if you're damaged off the pace, doesn't matter. You may be riding all by yourself the remainder of the night, but your positioning could be important into where your overall team is in points accumulated for the team race. Bobby Farrell had been up and over out of turn number 2. A lot of engine damage, obviously. Multiple laps down, but was soldiering on, trying to get whatever points he possibly could for Team Dodge, and literally gave it his all here, as you'll see the engine goes south off of turn 2. And that number 29. Caution coming out for the debris there on the back straightaway. And setting us up for what should be the first of 2 final pit stops of the night. I
I like how you said 2 final, because I mean either, Seth, but you don't know. They could come down with on the 1 to green and top off, and it might be enough. It might be just enough.
Super close. Like, I think we'll probably end up getting back green around, what, lap 45, 46?
I was thinking 45.
So that put them at about 22 to go. Usually what we hear is the max these drivers can go is 21 laps on fuel, and that's if they're at the back saving a little bit. Usually the median number we're given is 20, 19 if you're out in front. I don't know. 46 is saving. Race leader RJ Cabana, that's his first lap led of the night. So that's a bonus point going to Team Toyota there.
Yeah. I am going to send you a quick thing. And I have got to step out because I've got to go use the little boy's room.
Okay.
So I will be right back.
All right. Bobby Farrell out of the race will get credited for the 38th position. Blaine Donlin, Jeffrey Elliott already behind the wall for Team Toyota. Farrell for Team Dodge. Well, in terms of what we've seen on the racetrack, it's kind of difficult to be able to give an edge to any one manufacturer. You see all these Fords up here. They've been involved in a few incidents, a number of the Mustangs, but they haven't gotten a whole lot of contact. They've been able to keep going and all appear to be, for the most part, up to speed. They've played the strategy, though, of not being out in front and leading laps, not getting those bonus points to keep their cars in one piece and be around at the end. Chevrolets and the Toyotas and the Dodges, they've all had clumps up there towards the front, have had multiple drivers out in front leading laps, but at the end of the night, the biggest pay window is in the finishing results. So we'll see if that translates into the strategy potentially there for the Blue Ovals. Looks like we got another lap of pacing at least here before we go back green. So we're going to step aside for another FRN race break. RJ Cabana out in front showing the way here as we'll be getting the restart nearing 20 laps to go. Don't go anywhere. Coverage continues here on FRN right after this. Lights out in the pace car. And we're getting ready to turn them loose once again. It'll be with 22 laps remaining. Just a little past the mark of what we know the fuel window is for these drivers, but you've seen it during the course of this race break. The car's bogging down into the racetrack. That's them throwing in the clutch, saving every little bit of precious fuel that they can to potentially make it the rest of the way, maybe even just get to the point of no return, and then spend those final 2 or 3 laps saving to get to the checkered flag. It'll be the Team Donlin Toyota of RJ Cabana that will lead us back to green, and look at the mass of blue that is up at the front now. They ran at the back for the first half of this race, almost the first 2/3 of this race, and now you've got Fords as far as the eye can see through the entirety of the top 10. Dan Lovell, Randy Waugh, Brian Lovell right now in second, third, and fourth. You've got the Toyota of Robert Breedlove, but then more Fords with Greg Lovell, Eric Lovell, Perry Bond, Mark Paglia, Denny Carroll. You've got 8 of them up inside of the top 10 here for this upcoming restart. Green flag back in the air. 22 to go here at Talladega Nights Super Speedway, and the Fords on that outside line were ready for it. Great restart for Dan Lovell in the 14. He was edged ahead for a moment on RJ Cabana, but Cabana, he's going to prevail on that inside line out of turn 2 for the moment. Everybody trying to get organized. You got the Dodges there on the inside line, the Chevrolets towards the rear of the field. Randy Waugh shifts from bottom to top. He'll pick up that long line of blue Ford Dark Horse Mustangs. Try and lead them to the front of the field. A couple of them trapped down that inside line there, including Eric Lovell and Mark Paglia. They'll look to find a way up to the top side there to join their Mustang brethren. Close there at the line. Cabana led that lap. He's got Breedlove right behind him. Those two Toyotas all by themselves. Got to go a long ways back before you find their next teammate, which I believe would be the 48 of Chris Van Vliet. That's about 6, 7, 8 positions behind where they're at. Actually, more than that, about maybe 10 positions back. Randy Waugh, clear to the lead. Second Ford, I believe. Correction, third Ford that'll lead a lap here tonight. Dan Lovell, after that good jump there on the most recent restart. And Denny Carroll have led laps for the Blue Oval so far. Randy Waugh going to move down to the inside line there. Now he'll move back up to the top. Now back down to the bottom. Maybe trying to play some defense against that inside line. Give momentum to the second groove. Third lane starting to form. That's the Chevrolets up there. You only had a couple of them for the moment. Now they're picking up another 2 or 3 that are a ways back. Ooh, things are kind of spaced out there. 3 wide. They were almost looking 4 wide. They saw the Chevrolets and the momentum they were bringing, and they're going to try and go up and block that as all this is happening. The 2 Toyotas of Cabana and Breedlove are saying thank you very much, because now they've cleared all 3 lanes back out to the first and second positions. It's like all 37 drivers that are on the racetrack are running. They're on the lead lap. Got a couple of stragglers that are out there just trying to get whatever positioning they can.
I am back, by the way, and I see all the Fords on the middle lane there.
Yeah, the Fords, they are now ready to play here in this potential final run to the checkers. They got broken up, though. Trying to get reorganized. A couple of them that were trapped on the inside line got the benefit of keeping their track position. Looks like some of those drivers I was mentioning, though, that are going to be off the pace, that are just hoping maybe a wreck happens and they can vulture their way to a couple more spots, a couple more points. Bernie Mobbs, Ken Roberts, and Keith Bynum.
I think he kept it below the line. So
I think you're right.
No yellow.
Nate Balser. There you see no lights on the pace car, no caution flag in the hand of the race official. We stay green.
That was a great kind of save there to keep it below the racing surface
Yeah.
for that. Now, Seth, question, while I was gone, when lap did they go back green?
40. They went on to 45, so 22 to go. There was a
gonna be interesting.
lot of hardcore clutching going on during that pacing period, though. So if they can make it, it's going to be super close. But I'd be worried if I'm.
Interesting.
But I'd be worried if I'm this 46. I don't see how you can lead the entirety of this last run and be able to make it. He might have to worry about it because he nearly got wrecked by the 49. The 49 nearly got wrecked. And here we go.
No caution still.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
there it
caution
is.
now.
There it
Oh,
is.
we got
Oh
cars
my
up in the catch fence.
Oh my God.
We got a Ford and a Dodge up in the catch fence. I can't even identify who that is. Eric Lovell is the Ford. I don't know who the Dodge is. I can't even see
Bob
the roof
Dixon.
number.
Bob Dixon.
And then, oh my gosh, look at the parking
Brian
lot here
Rawson's
on the
truck.
inside of 1 and 2. Well, I think there's going to be a lot of vulturing now in the final 15 laps of this race. Look at that, Brian Lovell. Is that Rodney Sullins there to his inside? Yep. I think a couple of the Fords weren't even able to make it back here into the pacing line. Oh, gosh, look at that. That's Perry Bond. Left side caved in. The whole back end pushed
And I know
in.
exactly what started this big wreck, too.
Denny Carroll, another Ford, collected up.
The car that almost got spun came back up onto the racetrack. Bob Dixon tried to move up to let him in or to get out of his way and turned right up into another car. And that's what started that. So there's not going to be much.
Reedlove, I believe, the car you're
So
talking
there might
about.
not be much cars left.
It was his Sandoval. There's Bob Dixon. He was the Dodge that was up in the catch fence.
Oh my gosh, look at Perry Bond's car. That's just demolished.
Eric Lovell already out of the race.
I don't even know how Perry Bond is still on the racetrack.
Brian Rawson already out of the race. And I have a feeling they will not be alone. But we had one big one where it seemed like relatively light contact. This was the complete opposite.
This was the accident that took everybody out.
This is what we call the game changer. Because everybody, I think, at this point had a strategy in play. Looked like the Toyotas up at the front. They were just going to try and stay up there. The Dodges were trying to get organized in the inside line. The Fords were in the middle line. The Chevys were on the top line. Throw out that playbook. Now you got to pretty much start from square one because you're not going to have a lot of those allies that you had just moments ago. Couple of Fords actually got together earlier there before this wreck even occurred. I think it was the 15 of Randy Wan, the 11 of
Luigi.
Denny Carroll.
It was the 11 of Luigi.
So we showed you there that wreck with Eric Lovell and Bob Dixon. Let's take a look at the contact between the 15 and the 11 here before the caution even came out. And this didn't even bring out the yellow. Denny Carroll, big hit there with the back end. Randy Waugh, I don't think hit anything. No, he didn't.
Not have.
Boy, that was a saving grace for him. Not so much for Carroll. Carroll with the back end damage, but at least they both weren't caught up in the melee that occurred just a few hundred feet up ahead of them.
That is true.
Let's take a look and see. Trying to figure out who we should focus on here. Let's see if the 14 of Dan Lovell, if we focus on him, if that will give us a good idea of everything that occurred after the wreck up there in turn one. Oh, gosh. I could list off a ton of names, but oh gosh, someone just got flung right there across the screen. Was that the 12? 16 of Paglia was up and over. Perry Bond was up and over. I think the 12 just got like flung into the infield grass. That'd have been Brian Lovell. Let's focus on him.
Yeah, that was the 12. That was an absolute crazy wreck. I agree with Matt. I agree with Matt Stern. I bet the team chats are going loud right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bet 2 words in probably a lot of those team chats as well is what now? Right there. Couldn't tell which team Chevy car that was. That was Brian Rawson. He merged together with the 12 of Brian Lovell, flung him to the infield grass. There you see Rawson's up on his side. And here were the lucky, like, 3 or 4 that were able to get past all of that. A couple of others were able to snake their way through, but big time damage for a lot of drivers, and I don't even think we've got the official list at this point, but as of this moment, we've got Brian Rawson, Mark Paglia, Eric Lovell, and Brian Lovell listed as out of the race. That would be 3 drivers right there for Team Ford. The 12, the 13, and the 16, and then 1 driver for Team Chevrolet. So as this stands currently, all of the 4 teams have at least 1 driver back in the garage area. 2 for Toyota, 1 for Dodge, 1 for Chevy, and 3 for Ford. Jury's still out on Bob Dixon. After being caught up there in the catch fence, I'm not certain how that car is going to be able to continue. If indeed he's out of the race, that'd be 2 of the Dodges back behind the wall. And looks like 32 drivers would remain in this race in preparation for the upcoming restart. Frank Divins with the call, garage sale turn 1. If I'd have been there, I'd have been in the wreck because I would have gone to the garage sale too. Well, if you've got a big reset button, press it, because that wreck changed up everything. It changed up the entire landscape of even the front of the field. You've now got 3 Dodges up here, 2 Chevrolets. You've got a handful of Toyotas back there. Looked like about 3 or 4 of them. But that wreck really hurt the Ford camp. You've only got 1 of them up in the top 12 right now. And that would be Dan Lovell. Got Keith Bynum a little further back in 19th. That wreck also hurt the Dodges. Only got 3 of them really up here. And then you've got the next highest behind them is the 20 of Bernie Mobbs, who's still got that roof damage and we know is off the pace. It's weird to say, but I feel like the team that kind of was plagued with issues in the early going, that being the Toyota team,
now seem to have all the advantages.
Yeah, they're looking okay right now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars up at the front.
You got, I think, 6 of them in the top 15 as they currently run. So, I don't know. I do not know. We got to wait till all is said and done, because when we get this restart, we're going to still have 12 laps to go. There's still plenty of time for someone to hit the reset button again.
Hey, Seth, you want to hear a joke?
Well, I missed the last one, so give it a
right.
go, I guess.
So here, it's a text between 2 people, okay?
Okay.
One says, tell Beth we said Merry Christmas for us. And the person responds, she don't celebrate Christmas. They respond with, oh, I forgot. LOL. Yeah, she's a Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, I know. Tell her we said knock knock then.
Moving on.
Just don't understand. You don't appreciate it. Getting ready to go back racing.
Yep. Matt Stern pointing out, absolutely correct. Leader is clutching. That is Bob Seminara out in front to lead us to green. He'll have Kelly Causey to his outside for Team Chevy. Another Team Chevy driver in Ken Roberts. Then a couple more Dodges, Joe DeSpirito and Grant Wesley, the top 5. Then a bunch of Toyotas there in the latter half of the top 10, being led by Nate Balser.
Green flag is back out. Oh, we have a big stack up and a wreck in the back. And the caution is back out immediately.
One of the Fords I saw there. It's like one of the Dodges, one of the Toyotas in that.
2 Fords, I think.
So yeah, didn't even make it a couple of feet.
The 10 just ran up and hit the back of the 18 and turned him right into the wall.
Little friendly fire there. Harry Bond, the 18. Greg Lovell, the 10. Let's go back, take a look. This caution will save Bob Dixon, who I do believe is back out there. Looks like he's more suited for a Bowman Gray race than he is for a restrictor plate race. The whole front end of that car completely gone. But he'll get one of his 2 laps back here, so he'll be -1 when we go back green. Here's a look at it. Perry Bond, the front car there in the 18. Greg Lovell right behind him, and a little contact between those two. Bob Sire in the 27 gets collected up also for Team Dodge. And there you see the caution lights on. 7th caution of the evening here at Talladega Night Superspeedway. Sire on pit lane. Seminara has now picked up the pace car. Pace car was all the way over in turn 4 because of the timing of that yellow. Everybody else gonna catch up here. These yellows are helping all those drivers that were staying out for track position and saving fuel because it's more pacing laps for them to be able to clutch. Don't think that wreck's going to take anybody out. One thing I will say here for a disclaimer here as well, folks, we are not going to necessarily absolutely know who has won the team race here tonight. We're not going to be, we might be able to visibly try and mentally calculate who it is. But the calculations will more than likely not be done until tomorrow. So we will not be able to give you an official word on who it is. So we will just continue, as we normally do, to interview the podium finishers, and we'll try and give you an educated guess on who we think has won the team championship.
I'm gonna let you handle all that.
You're gonna let me handle the math?
Yep, I'm gonna let you handle the math, the interviews. I'm just gonna be here for a smiling face. I'm gonna secretly egg you on as you ask these questions because I'm the hype man.
Have you finished your hot dogs yet?
I finished them like 8 laps ago.
Did you get the everything Martinsville hot dogs or the plain?
I got the plain.
I hate you.
Why? You don't like the everything?
No, the everything's actually really good.
Well, I never got a chance to try it. I've only had a chance to try the plain. Remember, I was gonna get one of each, but then they ran out.
But yeah, but you went. Yeah, but you went to the one vendor. Why didn't you go to the vendor in the track rather than the one down in the midway?
Alex Ortiz did. Remember? That's how I got mine.
Yeah. Anyways, the everything hot dogs are good. I will honestly say, and maybe this is unpopular opinion, I don't think the Martinsville hot dog is lives up to the hype. I know it's the signature of Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah.
But if you go there expecting something like super unusual, I don't think it's quite that. It's good, don't get me wrong. I love the toppings they have on it, but
Caution's back out. The caution's back out. The guys got to go around one more time.
I think they're just doubling up because they're clutching.
It's possible.
All right, so we do have Bob Dixon, who will get a lap back, but he'll still be a lap down.
Caution lights are still on.
Ooh.
Because we have lap down cars now.
Oh, right. Yep. So not only the extra lap of pacing here under this caution period, but also the lap down car will make it where we will have the point of no return.
Be on lap 63.
I think it'll be on 62. I think if we end up getting to the completion of 61, I think the race would end under yellow.
We will find out.
Definitely if we get to completion of 62, race will end under yellow. I know that, but I think even if we get to completion of 61, I think the next flag ends the race. If you look back there, the very tail end of the field, you see the exposed engine. That is Bob Dixon, still out there. The engine that we can clearly see is obviously still running, though just a little bit aerodynamically unsound. But hey, Like we said, if the engine is still running, if it is still under power, run it until
it's
it
under
don't go
power.
no
A
more.
lot. It's under power. It's a lot.
I
under
guarantee
power.
you that car will not have an overheating issue for the rest of the night. Plenty of clean air getting to the engine.
Yeah, we'll definitely see on that one. Dodge, Chevy, Chevy, Dodge, Chevy. Or excuse me, Dodge, Chevy, Chevy, Dodge, Dodge. Top five.
Matt in our chat saying, plain, you got to have a mustard and relish on a hot dog. The thing is, Matt, they don't split things up. You have to have one or the other. You either have to have an everything hot dog or a plain hot dog. They won't do any mix and match. But I loved the everything hot dog. It was good. I can't remember all of what was on it. I know there was mustard. I think there was onions. I honestly don't remember. Gosh, when was that? That was literally like the end of October. That was 2 months ago. I can't even remember something from 2 months ago.
Wow, good job.
Who are you again?
Exactly.
Oh, you're the guy that smiles. That's right.
Yep.
Well, somebody's going to be smiling at the end of this one, as we're going to have 7 laps remaining when we go back green. There's Dixon going around. Well, never mind. Looks like he's going to drop back and get his lap added back manually instead. All right, let's give you as full a rundown as we can here for what could potentially be the final restart of the night. Bob Seminara, your leader for Team Dodge. Kelly Causey, your leader for Team Chevrolet. Ken Roberts lines up in 3rd. Joe DeSpirito in 4th. Grant Wesley 5th. Your highest running Team Toyota driver, Nate Balser 6th. Robert Breedlove is 7th. 8th is John Godfrey. 9th is RJ Cabana. And Bernie Mobbs completes the top 10. Josh Slocum is in 11th. Your highest running Team Ford driver is Dan Lovell in the 12th position. Doug Hewlick is 13th. 14th, Chris Van Vliet. Chris Elliott in 15th. Keith Bynum in 16th. 17th, Zach Rogers. Brian Schilling, Ulysses Sandoval, and Mike Mangialardi, your top 20. 21st, Graham McDonald. 22nd, Gary Heiser. 23rd, Randy Waugh. 24th, Greg Palmer. Rodney Summons, 25th. 26th is Tom Dixon. 27th, Denny Carroll. 28th, Greg Hagley. Pat McCarskey in 29th, and Perry Bond is 30th. Bob Sire and Greg Lovell, 31st and 32nd, are the last drivers on the lead lap. Bob Dixon will be 1 lap down. We go back green in 33rd. Drivers out of the race, Brian Lovell, Eric Lovell, Mark Paglia, Brian Rawson, Bobby Farrell, Blaine Donlin, and Jeffrey Elliott. 3 Fords, 1 Chevrolet, 1 Dodge, and 2 Toyotas out of this race. Leaving it up to the remaining teammates of the respective manufacturers, the remaining team members, to hopefully be able to bring home the gold in this team win. Big stack up again on that inside line. Looks like everybody mid-pack to the rear of the field. We're able to check up also. We stay green as Seminara leads them into turn number 1. DeSpirito shifts from the top to the bottom. We've seen this connection a time or two with DeSpirito and Seminara, the Florida gang.
Yep.
Not necessarily in Dodges, though. This is a new sensation. When's the last time Bob Seminara drove a non-triple digit car, do you think?
I don't know.
Usually see him in the 712.
Oh, maybe it was the last team race.
Could very well have been. Oh, we got a wreck.
I hear it. And the caution's out now.
22 of Doug Hewlick was in the middle of it. Caution is out.
Couldn't make it all the way to the line.
I think we got enough laps. We'll get a restart. They're still wrecking up there in the tri-oval. Looked like another Dodge was up into the wall there. Oh, maybe not. It might have been the Toyota Pat McCarskey. Craig Hagley coming off pit road. I think he might have spun down there. Bob Sire down there on the apron. He might have been in it. 8th caution of the night. I think Larry in our chat said he was expecting we were probably going to get 9 to 10 cautions. Well,
We're
one
on,
away
what,
from that.
7 or on 8.
Yep. Let's take a look at what happened here. Doug Hewlick in the 22 was the first one I saw around. There was a Toyota that was down on the apron just prior to that. That's the 44, Josh Slocum. And I think he comes back up the track into Hewlick. Chris Van Vliet was in that. There's Rodney Sullins. Graham McDonald. Bob Dixon in that. Where did the 27 get involved? Well, I guess he was already in it. Pat McCarsky there in the 41. I wonder if maybe McCarsky and Sire might have gotten together. And then Craig Hagley. Let's watch here as they come off of 4. Watch for one of the green Toyotas to maybe head for pit road to avoid the wreck. Because I think that's what Hagley did right
Possible.
there. Yeah,
Sometimes
he
you've
went in the
just got
grass.
nowhere to go.
Yep. Well, McCarsky gets hit there trying to save it in the grass by Keith Bynum, and that sends him up into the 27 of Bob Sire. And there you saw the 47 of Hagley spinning in the grass and then use the grip of the pit road to then move his way back up to the field. Well, I think it's safe to say anybody that was close on fuel, now they can make it. We've had 3 cautions since
And
then.
we should have a restart too.
Yes, with
probably 2 laps to go. I'm
2
gonna
or maybe a
guess.
1-lap shootout. This puts Bob Dixon back. Well, hold on. We'll hold off on that because Dixon did get a piece of the wreck, so I don't know if he would be eligible. But if he is, then Dixon's back on the lead lap. So all 33 drivers running would be back in the lead lap at this point in time. For those that are wondering about that bonus point for most laps led, I said I felt it was going to shift a couple more times tonight. It was Team Toyota with Robert Breedlove. Then it was Team Chevrolets with Zach Roberts. This time around, it will go to Team Dodge as Bob Seminaro will be leading his 11th lap, surpassing the previous 10 laps led by Roberts. And Zach Roberts is currently running in 11th place. So, pretty unlikely that he's going to get up here and be able to get that bonus point back. There's going to be at least another 2 laps that Seminara is going to lead here under pacing. So I think it's safe to say that Dodge will get the most laps led bonus point, courtesy of driver 21.
Yep.
Will that bonus point be the crucial point? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Seth, and you're gonna have to break out your calculator. Better start now. I see how your steam comes out your head sometimes.
Yeah, that's the panic. I think in all the years I've been doing this, I think I have only, when I've had to do like a math problem of who's ended up winning a championship, I think the only time I've gotten it right was once, and that was this past season for the RTG Talladega Challenge. That was the only time. All the other times I've made calculated guesses. I've, tried actually doing written math to make absolutely certain, and I've ended up being a point or 2 off, but still been inaccurate in my calculations. So that was a first and probably a last. Matt Stearns got his money on driver 35, Ken Roberts, to take the checkered flag here on this upcoming restart. Let's have everybody else weigh in. We got 23 people watching here. Let us know who you think's got a chance to win this race here tonight. If you don't have a driver, which manufacturer you think's going to be taking the checkered flag tonight? We still got Dodges and Toyotas and Chevys up here at the front. The Fords, they're looking like their chances are a little slimmer, though they do have 4 of them lined up there, all nose to tail on that inside line, so never say never. Depending on where and if a wreck takes place in a certain portion of the field, I mean, very easily, one, if not all of those Fords could sneak their way by. We've seen wrecks all over the place here tonight. Rear
Yeah.
of the field, middle of the field, front of the field, so nobody is safe yet.
Front of the field twice.
You're going to have to try and beat this connection of Bob Seminara and Joe DeSpirito, though, on the front row. You've got some Chevrolets lined up nose to tail behind them, though, with Kelly Causey and Ken Roberts. Toyotas have broken up a little bit there, but some fast ones up towards the front in Nate Balser and Robert Breedlove, as well as RJ Cabana. Nate Balser, let's not forget, a couple of cautions ago, was the car that was spinning through the tri-oval and didn't have a caution come out for it. So he caught a big break when, he caught a big break when that other caution came out, caught back up, and now inside the top 5.
Yep, didn't even get involved in the wreck.
Talk about this being a race of survival. If you've been involved in an incident, just trying to get as many points as you possibly can. I look back there and I see the hood damage, the roof damage on the 20 of Bernie Mobbs, who last time by crossed the line in 10th. Just behind him, you've got some roof damage on the 33 of Zach Roberts. Denny Carroll back there, back end pushed in on his Ford, but he's in 17th. Perry Bond, that car is all pushed in on the left side, the right side, the rear. But he's still up there on the lead lap in the 25th position. Everybody trying to get just that 1-2 positions better, if at all. Just improve where they're running. Gain points here in the closing stages for their respective teams. Got a lot of Team Chevy fans in the chat right now. Let's see if the Chevrolets can get it done. Got 3 of them up here inside of the top 10. Dodge is on the front row.
2 laps to go, restart. If a caution comes out, it's over.
We'll give that usual disclaimer. We're staying up at the front. If a caution comes out, we'll go back and we'll look post-race or under the final pacing lap. More than likely post-race, but we will stay at the front with the race back to the checkers or the caution and white flag. Bob Seminara and Joe DeSpirito might be pulling off the Joey Logano coined phrase, the okie dokie, here on the final restart. Green flag in the air. Question is, which one of them wants to be the one to lead back to the checkers? Have they settled out that decision?
Guess we'll find out.
Caution! Caution's out, and we're wrecking up here at the front. Robert Breedlove up and over. A bunch of cars in the middle of the pack taken out.
Well, there's our 9th caution of the day.
There it is.
And it's going to be the last one.
4 Dodges, 2 Toyotas, 2 Chevrolets get through. Seminara trying to hold off Kelly Causey for this win. Causey looks high, tucks back in line. Whoa, the Toyotas nearly just wrecked themselves for 4th place as Bob Seminara is going to lead him back to the yellow. White flag displayed. I don't know, visibly it looks like Dodge may have won this team race because there's 4 of them that just crossed the line up inside of the top 8. Two Chevrolets up inside of the top 10. Looks like 3 Toyotas maybe inside of the top 10 there.
No, I agree with you. It looks like this could go to the Dodges.
You got Seminara in the lead, DeSpirito 3rd, Bernie Mobbs 6th, and Ulysses Sandoval in 8th. I think he was involved in the wreck, but I think even Doug Hewlick managed to bring it home 14th, Tom Dixon 16th. So just on average, it's looking like it would be the Dodges for Team Mobbs that may end up winning this team race. Again, We're speculating. It's not official. The points have not been calculated. We're just eyeballing this. So do not take our absolute word for it, but...
No, take our absolute word for it.
And then send us nasty letters later. Well, Bob Seminara led the most laps here tonight. There'll be 14 circuits out in front, and he's going to pick up the victory here tonight in the big one. The Big Four Painters team race here for Talladega Nights at Talladega Nights Super Speedway. It's Bob Seminara, the winner here this evening. Kelly Causey second, Joe DeSpirito completing the podium. As you see, wrecked, smoking race cars crossing the line, just getting those final positions at the checkered flag. And Bob Seminara is going to get to burn it down. What do you think? Do we get a team burnout here?
It's possible. It's possible.
How in the world did Bernie Mobbs finish this race up inside of the top 10? That car was up and over. You can see the roof damage is still there. They never fixed it. Right place, right time. Great wreck avoidance. I don't know what void reckonance is. That's what I was gonna say.
Void reckon.
How about Ulysses Sandoval? Great run for him here tonight. The wrecking ball. Seminara gonna bring him down here. Yeah, I think all the Dodges are gonna celebrate. I'm even seeing some of the mid-pack finishing Dodges standing out on the track. Here we go. Hey, Michael, you ever seen 9 cars do a burnout together?
I haven't, but I feel like we're going to.
You're about to see it.
Oh, one of them clobbered the wall.
Oh, gosh.
And each other.
Looks like a demo derby rather than a group burnout. Well, any fans that were sitting over behind the flag stand will have to wait about 2 hours to be able to visibly find their way out of the stadium.
Yep.
Bernie Mobbs, Bob Seminara, Doug Hewlick, Bob Dixon, Joe DeSpirito, Tom Dixon, Ulysses Sandoval, Bob Sire, and Grant Wesley all taking part in this burnout. Somewhere Bobby Farrell is jumping up and down. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be a part of the burnout. His engine didn't make it to the end of this race. This is quite a long burnout. I'm assuming there's still some cars back there. Can't see through the smoke cloud. But there is your race winner, Bob Seminara. We'll be talking with him as well as Kelly Causey and Joe DeSpirito, your podium finishers, in just a moment. Let's take a look at the finishing results from this one. We're going to take the spotter card that we've had for you all night long off the screen so you'll be able to see these finishing results. Seminara with the win. Causey will be the highest finisher for Team Chevrolet. He'll bring it home in second. Joe DeSpirito in third. Nate Balzer will be the highest finishing of the Toyotas. He and Josh Slocum will complete the top 5. Bernie Mobbs will get 6th. Brian Schilling in 7th. Chris Elliott 8th. Gary Heiser brings home the top finish for Team Ford as he'll be 9th. And Craig Hagley is going to complete the top 10. Rodney Sullins in 11th. Greg Palmer 12th. Doug Hewlick was 13th. Perry Bond 14th. Tom Dixon 15th. Rest of the top 20, John Godfrey, Greg Lovell, Randy Waugh, Grant Wesley, and Denny Carroll. For those wondering, I believe it was 11th or 12th on back that were involved in the wreck in that final run to the caution. Here you see the rest of the drivers where they finished. Mangialardi, Roberts, Cabana, Breedlove, and Van Vliet the completion of the top 25. Keith Bynum in 26th, Dan Lovell 27th, Bob Sire, Ken Roberts, and Bob Dixon going to finish the last of the drivers on the lead lap. Ulysses Sandoval and Graham McDonald going to finish one lap down each. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, those two drivers had either one of two scenarios happen. Either they had a black flag on the restart and it didn't get cleared, so the game post-race EOL'd them, or they may have had damage from that wreck, might have been smoking, and were given a black flag for dropping debris. So I don't know if that's officially where those two are going to end up being, based off of one of those two scenarios, but for now, they are listed in 31st and 32nd. And the drivers that did not reach the conclusion of this race: Pat McCarskey, Brian Lovell, Eric Lovell, Mark Paglia, Brian Rawson, Bobby Farrell, Blaine Donlin, and Jeffrey Elliott. Well, it took us 9 cautions to get to the end of this one, and Bob Seminara is the one that gets to celebrate in victory lane.
Well,
Team
I'm going to let you
Dodge.
take care of all these questions.
All right, Team Dodge going to be celebrating, it looks like, the team win overall. Again, not official, just based off of visibly trying to eyeball the overall accumulation of points. The official announcement of what team ended up actually winning will be made probably within the next 24 to 48 hours. But we're going to go down and see if we can dial up our podium drivers here tonight after a crazy one under the lights at Talladega Nights Super Speedway. Let's see if we can kick things off with the guy that brings home in 3rd place. That's Joe DeSpirito.
User was moved to
Hey,
your
Joe,
channel.
Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. Got a copy?
Hey, boys, I got you.
Well,
How you doing?
Tell you what, it looked like it kind of flip-flopped this evening as to which manufacturer had the advantage. The Toyotas were looking good in the early going. Chevrolet started to step it up. Looked like the Fords were kind of hanging back, and then they made their way to the front. You Dodgers were up there as well. In the closing stages, though, had a bit of a stranglehold on the field with yourself and Seminara on the front row. On that final run, though, knowing it was going to be a 2-lap shootout, had you guys kind of settled out who was going to be the one to lead them back to the checkers? Was there kind of a friendly banter of, we'll see what happens? How were you going to keep everybody else behind you as well? Because you had the Chevrolets and the Toyotas breathing down your neck.
Yeah, we just kind of planned out that we were going to stay in our lanes and block both lanes. And I figured I was going to get stuck in the sucker hole because of all the third lanes that were coming all night long with these big teams. And it just happened to open up to where somebody didn't go on the bottom, and I got to sneak in behind Bob, and it worked out. So, yeah, we were just going to try to go side by side till the end and see who won. But I figured I was going to get stuck, and everything changed, though.
Yeah, we were talking before we went green with your teammate Grant Wesley there for Team Dodge, and we're talking about like what kind of communication was going on, what kind of strategy was going on. How much did the strategy change during the course of this race from start to finish?
Yeah, there's a lot of different pit strategy amongst everybody in the team. I don't think we were all in sync at all times, but I think that was also good. I think a lot of the other teams were trying to ride nose to tail the entire race, and it didn't seem like that was working out for them. So we kind of spread apart in certain aspects and found each other and communicated as to what was going on. So that was kind of our plan: just run your race and communicate as to what position each person's in, and yeah, it worked out.
You know, in a normal super speedway race, talking like maybe a regular season series race, you know, you end up having those few that you're wanting to work with during the course of the event. Here tonight, you've got another 9 teammates that you're trying to work with to try and accumulate the most points by the end of the race. Is it more pressure in that type of a situation than it is in just a normal race, or is it actually less pressure?
Yeah, I think it's less pressure just because everybody's communicating and you're kind of getting reassurance from everybody as to what the plan is as far as pitting goes, and if it's a gamble versus if it's not. And in the regular series, you got your couple guys that you're kind of talking with, and you don't know if that's the exact right strategy. But when you got more numbers, kind of reassures you, and you kind of less nerve wracking, and you're just kind of more calm. And yeah, like I said, it worked out. Got the W.
Definitely worked out. You're bringing home third place in a 1-3 finish for Team Dodge here tonight. Congratulations on the great run there, Joe. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys at FRN. Love watching the replays after every race. I want to thank Mobs Motors. I want to thank Bernie for painting all these championship cars for us. Team Dodge for rocking it tonight with Rockstar Energy on our car there. And yeah, I want to thank everybody watching at home. My dad and Uncle Travis, LC, and yeah, it was an awesome night. Congrats to Bob on the win. Very fun, different style, and it was cool though. I enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.
Different style indeed, but certainly a fun one for us up to observe in the booth. Joe DeSpirito brings it home third place here tonight in the Big Four Painters team race. Congratulations once again, Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Let's
User
see
was
if
moved
we
out of
can
your
dial up
channel.
the driver that brings home second place here tonight for Team Chevrolet,
User
Kelly
was
Causey.
moved to
Kelly,
your
Michael, and
channel.
Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh man, things were looking interesting there on that final restart. You had a teammate lined up behind you, an opportunity to maybe break up those dodges, but unfortunately, with that wreck on the final run to eventually the caution, your teammate was gone and you were left by yourself. So at that point in time, what was the strategy? Was it just kind of just hold that second position, make sure you didn't lose any more spots, or did you have something to get around the 21?
Well, I knew that if I tried to go around, I think his partner was gonna get there and help him out. So, the guy that was behind me, I think was Ken, and he had damage, so I knew he wasn't going to be really real strong on it. But
User joined your channel.
going to that last restart, I sat there and saw
User
the two
left your
Dodges, and then I
channel.
looked over and saw the Wham car. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a Toyota that I saw out there too. So I knew the Dodgers were going to be who we were probably going to be trying to deal with, and those two real good racers. So I really had my hands tied at that time.
Yeah, we saw you Chevrolets a number of times go up to that third lane trying to get something going. Was that to just to get your guys organized since nobody else was going up there, or was there actually something up there to try and get all of you guys up to the front? Was that the strategy call there?
Well, it was trying to get us up to the front, but you know how that third line is. You can only go so far, and then it kind of stops. So there's times that the blue team was actually in the driver's seat there before I think that second to last caution, because they had a lot of guys on the bottom. But we went back and did the gas mileage one time and really had the caution come out, but it took some of us out too at the same time. So that's what when you go in late and top off, but it puts you in the back. So the caution came out, but unfortunately we had some that got in, damage. There was a lot of the Chevrolets out there had damage, but I thought we put up a good fight. I don't know how we finished as a team, but I know we had some guys that had really damaged cars.
Team Chevrolet also seemed to be the first group that jumped on the bonus points train. We saw you guys when you were up at the front exchanging the lead back and forth to make sure just about everybody got a lap led. Even under caution periods, we would see maybe a handful of you stay out, one would pit, give the lead over to somebody else. I think we ended up having two of the Chevrolet drivers that didn't lead laps here tonight, so a lot of bonus points coming your guys' way. How difficult was it to kind of pull off that strategy and then get everybody reorganized afterwards?
Well, we kind of took this strategy that we were going to not try to get together from the get-go and try to, have groups of 5 or 6 and 4, and that way, if something happens, we're still in it. But yeah, it worked out good with, especially on the caution. There was one time I was in third. I think there was one car was leading was us, and then there was a Ford in between me and there, and Rawson was behind us, and Rawson had damage. He'd gotten in a wreck, and he couldn't keep up. And so the Ford luckily went in, and we too went in to give him a chance to get. He got to lead a lap under caution with a damaged car, so that was big because I knew that I might have a chance later on because I hadn't led one at that time, and fortunate enough to get up there at the end and get me one. So, yeah, we did a real good job. We were working together, thinking of each other, trying to move out the way and get somebody else up there. So that's big in this deal when you got 10 cars, especially.
Yeah, a lot of strategery, a lot of maneuvering having to take place during the course of this race. But as you said, you guys were up there. A lot of Chevrolets in the closing stages of this race. Unfortunately, that wreck wiping out a few of them, but gonna be interesting to see where you guys end up stacking up when everything is tallied together. Kelly, a great run for you here though tonight, bringing it home in the second position. Congratulations. Before we let you go, we're gonna give you the opportunity. Thank some sponsors. Do some shout outs.
Well, I like to thank my teammates tonight, man. It was a good group of drivers, and everybody worked well together on team speak. Everybody was, making suggestions. Rodney did a good job as our leader, making decisions on what to do sometimes. But unbelievable car that Rodney made as usual, and just a great paint scheme that he came up with. He has a knack for doing that, and he's really good at what he does. But I want to thank y'all and Talladega Nights for all y'all do with this. Y'all put on a great show, and I love going back and watching it. And thank y'all for all y'all do.
Well, Kelly Cause, he brings home second place for Team Chevy here tonight in the Painters Tribute Team Race for Talladega Nights at Talladega Nights Super Speedway. Congratulations on the great run there, Kelly. Well done.
Thank you. See y'all.
And let's see if
User
we
was
can
moved
go
out of
down
your
to
channel.
Victory Lane and dial up the driver of.
User
Can't
was
believe I'm
moved
saying this.
to
The
your
number
channel.
21. That sounds so weird. Bob Seminara in a double-digit car. Bob, it's Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. Got a copy?
How you doing, Seth? Michael?
Well, I'll tell you what. Kind of had to do a couple of double takes, make absolutely certain that the number correlated with the driver. But you guys had that front row control for the final restart. You and Joe DeSpirito. I asked Joe if you guys had a little bit of a friendly banter going on of, one of us is going to win this race, but let's find out who. Little co-opetition maybe going on there, what the case was. And he said basically just play defense against each respective line behind you. But came down to you in that 30 in the final run. I mean, he was going to try and make a move there. Did you have a plan to keep him at bay? Because it looked like he got to your right rear in the closing.
Yeah, we agreed that we'd go double file there and one of us would win. And that was definitely in my favor because I knew I had the advantage. So keeping him out there was good for me and the team. I mean, I don't know if we got the final points or what. But yeah, that was pretty much it there at the end. There were so many cautions. I just had to keep it down on the bottom. So
We talked moments ago with Kelly Causey from the Team Chevrolet about the bonus points, trying to get as many drivers a lap led as possible. You ended up leading the most laps tonight, so another bonus point goes to the Team Dodge stable. But we saw you guys as well, under green flag conditions, under caution, trying to utilize the strategy of getting a Dodge out in front for a lap led bonus point. How difficult was it? Because I think at one point we ended up seeing you try and make a move to be able to lead a lap, and you got put in the sucker hole and sent to the back.
yeah, exactly. No, I thought team-wise we worked really well doing that. There were a lot of yellow laps, under caution. So some guys were staying out to try to get a lap, and then some of us were saying, no, we're going to get it under green. But no, the team did really good. I don't know, there were like 5 or 6 of us that got laps. But yeah, I know we were going to work a deal there where I was going to get a lap, and yeah, they went 3 wide on me, which happens a lot, but that's okay. It happened later on in the race too, but we got back up there.
We know that obviously when it comes to super speedway racing, everything changes, sometimes even after a corner, not even after a lap. We end up seeing a number of cautions here tonight, some big ones. A lot of team cars get taken out in all 4 of the manufacturers. How many audibles had to be called in your team room alone from start to finish to try and get as many of the Dodges up to the front as possible in the closing stages?
Yeah, I thought team-wise we were doing pretty good throughout the middle stages. Some guys were in the back, the front, making different decisions and getting back together. And then there were a couple of big wrecks there at the end, and a lot of our guys got hurt. But at one point we had like 7 guys on the bottom lane, and I was leading that, so that was good because at that point I wasn't coming off the bottom. But yeah, we did well together. It just got really dicey out there, and guys couldn't avoid some of the stuff. But hopefully we pulled out the team title. I don't know. Maybe you guys do.
But just based off of eyeballing, we've got Team Dodge on top. But again, our math is not necessarily something to lean back on. So we believe you guys have got the team championship, and obviously the win tonight, and maybe one of the biggest burnout parties I've ever seen in my life, with all of you like completely smoke filling that front straightaway. I think the fans are still coughing up there in the stands. But Bob, obviously,
that's why I told him, come on, let's all go down to the start-finish line.
Yeah, that was definitely a sight to see. That's something that I think is going to stay in FRN history for a while. But Bob, a big win for you here tonight. Congratulations. We believe the team win as well there for Dodge, so congratulations on that. Before we let you go, though, we're going to give you the opportunity for Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
All right, thank you, Seth. Michael, appreciate you guys at FRN. Definitely Jeffrey and his guys that all put this on, and the painters that it was for. We appreciate them. I'm a Bernie Mobs guy. Bernie's paints all the way back to, I think, season 39, and my first title at Talladega Challenge there in 40. So I've had Bernie's paints all the way through. So I like to shout out to Mobs Motors and of course RTG, where I run regularly on Thursday. Yeah, we had fun tonight, and like to shout out to Q and LC. And yeah, I appreciate them putting this race on.
Well, Bob Seminara brings the Dodge number 21 home here tonight in Victory Lane in what appears to be a Team Mobs team victory in the Painters team race for Talladega Nights. Congratulations on the great run, Bob, on the victory. Go and enjoy it. And yeah, we doesn't look like we're going to be talking to you till 2024. So have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you next year.
Same to you. Merry Christmas. Yeah, we'll talk to you next year. We'll start over again.
Absolutely. That's Bob Seminara, your
User
winner
was moved
here
out of your
tonight
channel.
in what looks like it's going to be our final broadcast of 2023. And Michael, what a way to go out. I mean, exciting from start to finish, constantly having to try and rework the calculator, also try to speak actual English, try to rework the calculator as to what team was going to prevail. But at the end of the night, the Dodgers showed up. A few of them were able to skate through that big wreck. Seminara and Despirito had a pretty good stranglehold on the lead there in the closing stages and able to pull off the victory here tonight. But the situation changed multiple times here this evening. I think he's gone to sleep. He's probably left his note for Santa, left out the milk and cookies, and he's already gone to sleep. He'll be sleeping for 4 days until Santa brings him his presents. But nonetheless, appreciate Michael for joining me here tonight in this one. Appreciate everybody for joining us here in our chat, keeping us company here during these caution periods. Hope you guys have enjoyed our coverage. A great race here tonight in the Talladega Nights Big Four Painters team race. Unusual one, second time that we've had it here on FRN, but definitely a unique race to be able to call and to be able to observe as well. If you guys enjoyed our coverage, again, be sure to give this video, this broadcast, a like. If you aren't already, subscribe for upcoming events. And also, if you're on your phone, be sure to hit that bell for notifications. Folks, it looks like this is going to be our final broadcast of 2023. So from everybody here at FRN, hope that you guys have a happy holidays, a happy new year. We will see you guys in 2024. For Michael Norman and myself, Seth Cole, we will see you guys next year. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network. See you, everybody.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for